Paul Tonko from the great state of New York. Thanks for joining us once again.
My pleasure. I appreciate the gentleman from California bringing us together tonight in thoughtful discussion about what is chaos here in the nation's capital. So, Representative Garamendi, thank you for bringing us together with our representatives from New Jersey and from Connecticut and from Pennsylvania and others who will probably join us that will speak to the unnecessary pain that has trickled into the lives of far too many working families across this country and impacting so many small businesses from coast to coast with the ill effects of a government shutdown, a Republican government shutdown, simply because, as you've just heard the gentleman from California indicate, we need to vote on a CR, a continuing resolution, a bill that allows for the budget to continue into a date certain, as mentioned in that bill, most likely 2 months, 8 weeks as an extender into perhaps mid-December. Why do we need to do that? So that we can bring stability into the process, allow government to be funded, allow for the doors to be open, allow for the lights to go on, and reopen government. That's the first step in the sequence. Secondly, another cornerstone bit of legislation coming quickly upon us, giving the green light to America to pay her bills. America's working families understand what that's about. They know that they play by the rules. They roll up their sleeves. They work hard. They expect to taste success, and they pay their bills on time, and they expect their beloved country to do the same thing. Our second step in the process. And then, thirdly, buying this 8 weeks of time allows us to immediately name those individuals who will be the representatives for the majority and minority parties in each of the houses of Congress to sit down and nail down a budget in those ensuing 8 weeks to make certain that stability again is the outcome. That's what we're asking for. Mr. Speaker, you are the Speaker not only to the Tea Party, not only to the Republican Conference, but to the entire House, the United States House of Representatives. Let all of us vote on what is a clean CR, which has been approved by the United States Senate, and by the way, in negotiations to date, accepts your number, the lowest number in the process. We're not happy with that number, but we're going to cave to your request to allow for government to be refunded, to be reopened, and for us to move forward. That's what it's about. We're asking for dignity to be expressed for America's working families. We're allowing for certainty to be the outcome for our small business community so that we can grow our economy, allow for the climate that produces both public and private sector job growth that allows us to move forward with a sense of hope. That's what the request is here. Why won't you let us vote on a clean CR? Are you fearful that it might pass? Are you fearful that you don't get your way? Because, you know, 45 votes that have been taken on a continuing or on a debt ceiling limit vote since the days of President Ronald Reagan, those 45 measures have been approved 38 times without any bells and whistles, and certainly unprecedented to have attached to the vote some sort of clutter that deals with the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. Never have we reached to that sort of negotiated outcome where we're repealing the law of the land. In this case, the law of the land that is 3 years old, was approved by a majority in the House of Representatives, was approved by a supermajority in the United States Senate, was tested at your concern, because of your concern, before the highest court of the land, and the Supreme Court gave it thumbs up in meeting the constitutionality test. What more do we need to do to convince you? Let me just say this, Representative Garamendi, quickly so we can get to our colleagues. I want to share with you some of the results in these few 8 days already, but painful 8 days for far too many. By the end of this month, food pantries like the one in my district in Cohoes, New York, may not have the money to stay open. That is the situation with many of our food pantries. This is a facility that helps feed 215 hungry families in the capital region of New York State. Projections are that one of the providers of electronics for our fighter jets, our submarines, and our helicopters in Saratoga Springs, New York, in the 20th Congressional District that I represent, have grinded to a halt as inspectors can't complete contracts and new orders cannot come in. We also have impacting us a forensic meteorology business in Niskayuna, New York, again in the 20th Congressional District of New York, that works each and every day with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that helps bring benefits to all of us from the devastation of Mother Nature. These are jobs that are meaningful to the quality of life of people across this country, that are meaningful to working families who are now without jobs, people who are not getting paid and showing up to work. These are devastating consequences to the economy. We implore the leadership of this House, we implore the Speaker to call for a vote on a clean, continuing resolution that embraces your number, the lowest number in negotiations that we will settle upon. We will offer our votes for that kind of measure. Only give us that chance so that America can have her government funded. We can move forward to advance the debt ceiling limit bill vote that will allow for a government for America to pay her bills, and then finally move to that conference table where representation from both parties in each of the houses will nail down a budget in the ensuing 8 weeks. That will bring stability to the economy, will bring economic and social justice to the people of this great country. Let's move forward with that sense of fairness. And thank you very much to the gentleman from California.
Thank you, Mr.